So I finished watching Jordan Peterson's lecture yesterday on Jungian archetypes and the movie Lion King. And I have to say, he touched upon a subject which I feel deeply resonated with me. And he talked about how when an individual decided to dismantle a deeply held belief or value system, it's very hard for them to find something else to replace it. And he gave the example of Moses, how he led the Israelites away from a kingdom of tyranny and into the desert, a completely barren land with nothing familiar, no one they know, and how they were stuck in the desert for 40 years before being led back into the quote-unquote promised land again. And he gave the example because he wanted to highlight how, for example, when an alcoholic or a drug addict suddenly stop using their choice of substance, it's as if their body cannot handle it, because they're so used to that routine. They're so used to drinking alcohol or taking drugs for however long it was. And it is addictive, but it gives them a routine, some sort of structure. And no matter how horrible these substances are to your body, when you stop taking them, it's as if your body is dying. It needs the drugs. It needs the alcohol. Now, I can't really speak from experience because I've never dealt with substance addiction before, but I've looked after people who go through this on a daily basis. I see so many cases like this, people rocking up to the emergency departments, withdrawing from drugs and alcohol. And how do we treat them? How do we treat these convulsing, seizing patients? We give them more drugs. We give them drugs to combat the drug addiction that they are having. Most of the time, the doctors give them diazepam. And after a few doses, they get better. We advise them to go to an addiction center because you need to be monitored when you're on these drugs, and you need a period of time to be acclimatized to, the normal life again. You need a period of time in which you stop using alcohol or these drugs, these hard drugs, and you just need to learn to live without them for a while, under the guidance and supervision of healthcare professionals. But you know what? While some of them do decide to get better and do decide to, accept the treatment and go to these facilities, a lot of them just refuse, and we send them out the door, immediately after they got better. And guess what? A few weeks, few months later, they come back. And they keep coming back. And that's why we all know who they are. Prisons. Prisons are horrible. I don't think I can survive in prisons. I don't know how people can live in those conditions, being squashed inside a room with 3 other dudes. The toilet is next to the bed. How can you do it? These criminals, they have committed a crime. They get released. A lot of them ended up committing crimes again and ending back up in jails. Why? As someone who has never really committed any heinous crimes before, I cannot wrap my head around this. But then, listening to that lecture, I suddenly get it. It's the routine, Prison, it gives you some sort of structure and some sort of order in your life. And some people, they need that. But to completely replace that with something else, that's a really hard thing. Now, I used to struggle with porn addiction. And I still do struggle with it sometimes. Ever since I was a teenager, I've struggled with this problem. And I realized the period of my life in which I did not look at porn, I did not masturbate, or I did not have these impure thoughts. What was I doing to replace it? I was religious. I was in the Catholic Church. Being religious, being in the Catholic Church is a big commitment. You got to go to Mass. If you can, you have to go to Mass every single day. But the obligation is that you got to go to Mass every Sunday. And you're obliged to go to Mass on special occasions, like Christmas and stuff like that. And you also go to Bible study. You also do these fellowships. It takes up your time, I make a lot of friends. But now, as you all know about my deconversion journey, like I walked away from the church because I pride myself on rationality and taking things with healthy skepticism, as I put it. But is this really the best way to go about it? The church has given me some sort of structure and order in my life, and it gave me some sort of purpose. I know that I cannot go back to the church now because I cannot suspend my belief in order to, have this structure in my life again. But what am I going to replace it with? Where am I going? Where is my spiritual home? And I'm lost. Just like the alcoholic who are given diazepam to combat alcohol withdrawals, I used God and Jesus and the church to lead me away from porn and sexual impurities. But now reintegrating back into society, I don't know. I don't know where to go. All of my friends, my Christian friends, now I have nothing in common with them other than the fact that I am a fellow human being. When a drug addict is separated from other users, no one's going to give them drugs anymore. No one's going to hang out with them and do drugs with them anymore. They're forced to make new friends. And it's challenging. It's really challenging. And so that's why a lot of them ended going back into their old habits again. Now, I'm not here to argue whether the church is a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying it's hard to replace something that has given your life so much structure and meaning and purpose. But anyways, I'll talk about it another time. I gotta go to work. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay strong. God bless. I love you all. And I'll speak to you soon.